What was that noise? What was that noise?
So that's the testing is confirming what was already known. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to be back. Today, I got another video for my Second Amendment enthusiasts out there in which I'm going to be comparing two of the most revered 9mm handguns in the game. If you're a hardcore boxing fan like I am, you'll understand why this matchup kind of reminds me of when the young up-and-coming Canelo Alvarez threw down with the longtime reigning pound-for-pound champ Floyd Mayweather Jr. On one hand, you have the blueprint that so many others have tried to emulate or at least draw inspiration from over several decades, while at the same time claiming it to be boring, versus the new kid on the block who has proven that it belongs at the elite level and is considered by many to be on the receiving end of the passing of the torch, so to speak. So today we're going to see if it'll be the experience and the subtle mastery of fundamentals that prevails, as it did in that prize fight, or if it'll be the new blood and the fresh innovation that steals the show. So in the blue corner, we have the Walther PDP compact 4-inch barrel hailing from Germany. I picked this up back in April to upgrade from my first gun, which was the Taurus G2C. And in the red corner, we have my newly acquired Glock 19X hailing from Austria.
I should have put the body in the buffet's last body, and I'm gonna miss everybody.
As you can see, you get a nice fancy hard case with either gun. Where the Glock has the edge is that it comes with 3 magazines, flush fit 17 rounder, and 2 extended 19 round magazines. Love that. Where the Walther has the edge is that it comes optic ready, but only comes with 2 magazines, 15 rounders. Pretty standard plastic sights on it, compatible with any and all Glock sights. On the 19X, you get the fancy schmancy metal glow-in-the-dark night sights. Big selling point for me. I gotta say that this beautiful flat dark earth finish, it really scratches an itch for me. I got this thing where I gotta be unique. I like to stand out. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's bad, but either way, this is some exclusive shit right here. This is some other shit. People be like, yo, what's that? You don't know about that. But anyway, moving on to ergonomics, a very popular topic, an attribute that the PDP is notorious for. In the case of the shape and texture of the actual grip itself, I definitely favor the PDP over the Glock, but it's not by a wide margin for me. Where the Glock takes the cake is the grip angle. I am crazy about it. I've heard so many internet complaints about it, so I guess I'll just attribute that to the notion that certain guns fit certain people better than others, but nothing has ever felt so natural to me. I love the sight acquisition when I point it, and more importantly, yes, I can get nice and high up on both of these guns, but with the Glock, I can actually feel a tight pressure where the beaver tail sits in the web of my hand, and that plays a huge role in recoil mitigation. Where the PDP really kicks the Glock's ass is the design of the controls. I can operate this pistol in every way without compromising my grip whatsoever. The slide stop is nearly 3 times the size of the Glock's, easily accessible, but if you're not mindful of your grip, you can cause it to lock when it's not supposed to, or to not lock when it is supposed to. The Glock slide stop is small, and even if I remove the medium beaver tail backstrap, I can't reach it without slightly coming off the grip and turning the gun in my hand. I don't really like tinkering with self-defense guns. I like to keep them as close to stock as possible, but I will definitely explore extended slide stops in this case. Now, technically, I'm comparing a compact frame to a full-size frame, since the 19X uses a Glock 17 frame, but we're only looking at a 1/10 of an inch gap in height between the two of them, compared to a 1/4 inch gap between the 19X and the full-size PDP, or a 1/3 of an inch gap between the PDP compact and the Glock 19. A lot of people step into the concealed carry world wanting the smallest gun possible, but once you learn little tricks to conceal it better and you shake off that paranoia that everybody knows that you have a gun, you might find yourself wanting to carry something a little bigger for more capacity and shootability. I'm not an appendix guy. I elaborated on this in another video, link in the description, but I'll just say that I find it easier to conceal a bigger gun at 3 o'clock than I do at the appendix carry position. In warm weather, I do pretty well in just a t-shirt or a tank top as long as it's not too form-fitting, but anything else I'm wearing is going to be an open button-down shirt or formal wear like a sport coat or a suit, so that just makes everything even easier. It might not work so well at appendix, but your dress style and your physique is going to play a part, so that depends on you. For me, it works. I give them both a 6 out of 10, assuming you're going with a flush fit magazine. Now, we all know that the trigger is one of the strongest selling points for the PDP. I'll definitely say it's worth the hype. What I like about it is the smoothness of the take up right here. I ain't got one of them fancy trigger weight measuring tools. Buying guns is expensive enough, especially when you have 4 kids. But here's the reset. You know, short and sweet. And then you got the Glock trigger. You know, you hear a lot of people talk about the sponginess of it, and it does feel a little heavier than the Walther trigger, but the biggest difference between the two is the take up. And you feel that sponginess here in the take up, hit the wall. But to the gun's defense, you know, it's brand new. I probably got like 75 rounds through it. Here's the reset. And I went through my phase of being a trigger whore already, and coming from a shitty Taurus G2C trigger, that trigger is sufficient for me. So how do they shoot? Well, pretty simple. I shoot better with the Glock, significantly better. And I be in these Facebook groups a lot, you know, and you come across a lot of these know-it-all snobby dudes, and I get that there's a lot of people out there who have much more experience and skill than I do, but they try to act like I can't have an opinion. Like, I can't state what my experience is. You know, you guys over and over again, it's not about the gun, it's about the user. It's not about the gun, it's about the user. It's not about the gun, it's about the user. Shut the fuck up! I understand the logic, it makes sense, but it doesn't negate the fact that different guns, different platforms, they're designed differently. And some guns just suit certain people better than others. And we all biomechanically do the same thing in a different way. When I pop out and present with the Glock, pretty often my sight alignment is already there. It's rare that I have to adjust, and if I do, it's not by much. With the Walther, even though I've been carrying it for half a year, I just don't experience that when I point it. So it seems like the grip angle of the Glock is just more natural to me. Between that and the difference in muzzle rise between the two, I'm gonna shoot better with the Glock every time. I've complained about the snappiness of the PDP a bit, and there's a lot of reports out there that corroborate with my statement. And some people are saying it's not snappy at all, but you know, there's this whole corner of the aftermarket that is geared toward heavier guide rods, heavier recoil springs. Everybody talks about the ZR tactical guide rod and walks around with comped carry guns and all that. And why are you saying it's not snappy? You got all this fucking extra shit. A lot of people rant and rave about how light the PDP is as a plus, but in my book, the Glock being about an ounce heavier is yet another win when it comes to recoil mitigation. So what's the issue here? Why is it so snappy? Why is there so much muzzle rise on it? Well, there seems to be 2 theories out there. One is the high bore axis being the issue. The internet seems to be split on whether or not bore axis is relevant to recoil, but it kicks. It does have a high bore axis compared to the Glock, and it kicks a lot more. The other is the design of the Walther's chamber, which is referred to as a stepped chamber. And for whatever reason, it seems to increase reliability, but at the same time, you know, adds muzzle rise. You know, either way,
I don't give a fuck.
It's harder to shoot. I mean, that's all that matters to me. As far as reliability goes, I don't need to say anything about this. We already know what it is. I've got about 1,100 rounds through this, and I haven't really been on top of cleaning and lubing it like that, and I have not had one malfunction whatsoever. I've only got about 75 rounds through this thing, but no hiccups at all. But I'm impressed with this. I really am. So I really would put this on the level with this in terms of reliability. 10 out of 10. Doesn't mean they're perfect, doesn't mean that they're incapable of malfunctioning, but to me, this is the best that it gets. Now look, the existence of Glock fanboyism is well documented, but before anybody tries to pull me with them, understand that I invested the time and the money into this, and I wanted this to be the end all be all for my EDC, but it just wasn't, you know, and I avoided buying a Glock for years because everybody's got them, you see them everywhere, but, you know, I tried it and I understood what the hype is about, you know, so I finally tapped out, for lack of a better word. If I could shoot this as well as I shoot this would be my everyday carry. Because again, like I said, I manipulate this thing so much more smoothly. I love the control layout of it and whatnot, but that's not what matters. This is my new everyday carry. That wraps it up, ladies and gents. Make sure to go down and check me in the comments. Share your thoughts on my analysis. Which one are you going with? Walther PDP or Glock 19X, or just generally PDP or Glock? There's so many different variants, but till next time, peace.
What you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run? When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide? When judgment comes for you, cause it's gonna, I should've put the body, bleed this is something Charlie, and the wolf is last money, and I'm gonna miss everybody.